Piece for 4.8 day 1 is bearing measure, and that's again one that is carried over from 4.1. We had it earlier on in the chapter, and now we're just coming back to it. So today is where bearing measure will actually be used in several problems. It's whenever we're dealing with navigation, it's the angle of the line of travel measured clockwise from due north. So if you look at this example right here, we've got due north and you go clockwise. That's going to be the bearing measure for, in this case, the path of a boat. So there are going to be some times we're going to want to convert trig to bearing and vice versa, so we need to know how that's going to work. Now these angles here are trig angles, and so I'm going to start with this 120. If we were to have an angle of 120, if I were just to graph this on a normal grid, 120 is going to be starting on the positive x-axis, and so it goes to about right here. That's 120 in terms of a trig angle. Now notice that this chunk would be 90 degrees, and so then this in here would be 30. That's how much of a slice we would have in that one. But when we're doing bearing measure, we're not measuring it in that way. We're starting from due north and then measuring it around clockwise. And so in this case, we start right here and go around clockwise, and we hit all the way to here. Now this gets almost all the way around minus this 30 degrees, and so we know 360 is full way around. So to get 120, that's the same thing as just going to be 360 minus 30. So our bearing measure in this case is 330 degrees. Okay, so that's for number 1. For number 2, negative 35 degrees, we're going to, again, graph the standard trig angle first. So negative 35 is going to be clockwise from the horizontal axis. So that means here we're going to go, we'll just estimate it here, going down here, negative 35. The bearing, again, is measured from due north. Positive is clockwise in this case. So really, to get this negative 35 angle, what we're doing is we're saying 90 plus 35 is going to give us our bearing measure. And so in this case, that ends up being 125 degrees. So negative 35 converts to 125. In this section, in these problems, we will be converting back and forth a little bit perhaps, and so just know how to do both ways. I would draw the picture when in doubt, and that will help you convert, and you can just kind of work your way backwards whenever you do that.